guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So, I have a drum kit in the house. It's not mine. It actually belongs to the church I attend. And I brought it home to find out what was going on with it. Because last time we tried to hook it up, it had problems and things just weren't going well with it. So I brought it home today, set it up in here, hooked it into my mixer board, and started going through wiring and resetting the brain in this thing after I figured out how to do that. And that was a pain in the neck because the manuals do not really help a lot. Okay, they help some but not a lot. I actually downloaded a manual off the internet for this thing because I was having some issues, especially with if you remember an acoustic drum set, you got that big tom, right, that's like boom, right? And anyways, that actually should be assigned to one of these two pads over here. And if you follow the directions that come with this stupid thing, yeah, it'll get hooked up, but then you have no control over it, and it is obnoxious because you need to be able to control the levels of all of this. And so anyways, I was having some issues, and I figured out how to resolve it. I had to flip a few wires around here and there because I was also having problems with the crash cymbal, not being able to control it, and it was getting really obnoxious too. And so between switching a couple of cable positions around with just some random guesswork and resetting everything that I could reset, everything seems to be straightened out now. And so now it will react like a normal drum kit should. You know, with the exception you have to have proper speakers on this thing, and you know, to get that, you know, more of the authentic sound, at least as close as you're going to get for electric stuff. But the one thing that's kind of interesting too is the cymbals. When you hit them, let me just put this thing actually on the standard drum kit first. So I figured I'd give you guys a demo of this and explain about it while I'm at it. 85. So this is a standard kit. Now you can silence the hi-hat, but you can't silence these. So they are nice because they're you're able to basically soft touch, hard touch type stuff. And then you've got the rims on each one of the pads. Now on a standard drum kit, you should get this stuff going on. Let me just turn the volume up. This is the rim of the snare, then the middle, and then the first tom. I can control this stuff much better. You do have to watch the master out volume. It is a preamp system, right? So there's no amplifier output per se. You have to actually plug this into a sound system or monitor speakers, or like a bass guitar amp would actually be quite suitable too, because the bass guitar amp can actually handle the thud and give it a really good sound. For me to get a really good thuddy sound, I crank my bass up, and I get a pretty decent thud out of that, but I don't want to overdrive the bass too much, so I got to cut it back a little bit, and I got my treble cut back a bit. Now I'm not a drummer, okay? I've been screwing around with drums off and on since I was a kid, and I could never get it, and I'm actually starting to get the hang of it, and I'm really enjoying this kit. I actually really got to buy myself one now. So yes, that's going to be something that I'm going to save up for somehow and afford one, because yeah, I want one, and it fits in here. This is a big kit too. This is actually the Alesis Dm10, which you'd know by the title. It's a really good kit. It's a studio kit, professional type quality, right, they say. And But it is got its downsides, and that's with the wiring in the back to where things go. They don't tell you, like you've got, well, okay, they do tell you this much. Your pedal for your hi-hat, they tell you where that goes, and that's proper. And your kick drum, that's proper, you know. And I think there was one other one that was proper. Oh yes, the snare. Everything else though, no matter what the cables say, some of the cables are labeled with things that don't even exist on the top control panel, so to make it easier to plug stuff in, right? And of course, with your toms, I had to flip some wires there and trade a wire off from this into here, and then I had to take a wire from here and swap it over here, take one from here, swap it over there, and technically, I guess, according to the manuals, some things are not in the right places, but you know what? It's that's what it took to get it to work, because when I would hit a rim down here, I would get stuff that I shouldn't be getting, you know, and now I've got what I believe is correct, because now if you happen to miss the middle, at least you'll get a lower tone of the one you're going after. Now, I don't have sticks. We didn't have a set of sticks at the church. We don't know what happened to them. So I just took some aluminum rod, put some tape on there to protect it so that I don't hurt the skins. But I want to give you guys a little demo anyways. I think if you can deal with the headache of figuring out how to hook the darn thing up, if you do buy, because they do still sell the DM10s and other models from Alesis, but if you can go through that headache and deal with it, it's actually a pretty decent little kit. I want one. So anyway, let me show you what I can actually pull off. That's just a standard kit. They got some really funky stuff in here too. That's called Funk Ringer. They had a really cool one here. Techno. That's a techno beat thing. Guitar jam is kind of weird. Let me just turn that down a bit. Some kind of guitar thing. Some of these are actually pretty stupid. There's one called vocal drums. That's kind of cool. What else we got in here? Funky drummer. Not really much funky about that, really. Fuzz hop. Fuse hop. Kind of weird. What else we got here? Piano rock. big kick. Ringy metal. Yeah, nothing really there. What else we got? Oh, electro. Drop the stick. Need some real sticks. That's kind of fun. Electric cup. And what else? Electric tech. So there's a lot of really neat effects in this thing. It even has a metronome. And you can record stuff too, which is kind of nice. It's got a little record section, tap tempo and all that jazz. And you can do quite a bit with this version. The control boards seem to be the same. Even in the, they got one of about $1,700 from Alesis. And the control boards all look the same, but they obviously have more effects and sounds is what you're paying for. And apparently there's updates and stuff too for this thing that can be done. I'm going to look into that too, because I'd like to get this thing all updated. And, it is I would say it's a pretty neat set. Like, it's a really good quality set for Alesis. I know my son has an Alesis set, and he paid about like $600-700 for his. That was like, God, years ago, you know. And I mean, it's technically not half the kit this is. And so, I mean, as things are progressing, they're getting better with kits. And this one here, from what I could find online, it's worth somewhere between $1,000-1,400, somewhere around there, $1,300-1,400, which is actually, I would say, on one hand, not bad, but for the frustration and hell you got to go through to get it to, you know, things to sync properly and work right, to get even a normal drum kit sound out of it the way it's supposed to be, it's, I don't think it's worth that kind of money, to be honest, but, you know, it's definitely still worth quite a bit. You know, I just wouldn't know how to put a value on it, but number 85. Let's go, they also have a bunch of defaults here that I guess you can do programming with to a certain point. There's user defaults, and it goes from 100 to 199. So you get basically about 100 defaults that you can mess with, I guess. Like, this is 199. That's kind of a little obnoxious. 169. Sounds about the same. So they're probably just blank defaults. The kit I'm actually using is called 80s Standard. And it's selection 85 on the Dm10 module, so into a PA system, definitely a good thing. This has 2 main outs, so you get stereo, as well as 2 auxiliary outputs as well, and to go out to monitors. But you don't have to use it in stereo. You can use it in mono. I'm running stereo because I'm going 1 main output out into my mixer. My mixer splits it across my 2 amps, so I'm in stereo basically. So, you know, it fills up the room more, and you know, sounds nice, and I can pan both sides if I want, which is good. But yeah, it's for somebody who's definitely not a drummer, guys. I'm getting the hang of this, and it's fun. And I gotta tell you, I really gotta say that I respect the drummers in the world, because to do 4 things at once, and not just 4 things at once, you're doing like different rhythms, right? And you gotta try and, you know, make something work, right? I've got the utmost respect for those guys, man. They got one hell of a job. To make the thing work. But yeah, definitely a cool kit. Really like it. I really like this thing. But I thought I'd show this off to you guys on the channel, just because it's something that, you know, I mean, I borrowed it from the church, and to work on it for them, and I got it up and running. So there's your demo. It works great. You know, so I'm hoping it's going to work out in the end, and hopefully we won't have any more issues with this thing. And now that we know about the wiring, once you do get it set up, like what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to number each piece with a designated, okay, like this is the hi-hat, so I'm going to go, you know, hi-hat, which is the top part, and its cable, to just double make sure. So every cable is going to be labeled to everything. The pads, you know, I'm going to say, okay, well, this is pad 1, I'm going to put pad 1 on here as well as on the pad, and mark the cable, pad 1. So when I take this back, I'm leaving all this stuff plugged into the back, so I don't have to monkey with it, and then everything can go back organized. So this way, if you have to take this kit down, like if you have this kit, label the wires that go into each one, you know, and then label each piece, and then take a picture so you know the sizing and everything. Like these two I think are the same as far as sizes go. I think I think there's a bit of a difference too. Yeah, there's a difference in the widths here, so you'll want to make sure that that's organized the right way, so you got them on the right sides. Same as your crash cymbals are kind of a no-brainer, you know. I don't know how much more you could add to this kit. I mean, you might be able to add an extra tom somewhere, but it's a pretty full kit. Like, you're talking what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-piece kit, you know. And the arm here, which is nice, it can swing, you know, further out too. It moves out of your way more if you need it out more, type of thing. I've got the kit pretty spread open, so even when I'm sitting in front of the kit, now I don't have a proper throne to sit on, but if I sit the right way, I should be. I'm probably going to have to change the angle on my snare, but anyways, that concludes our demo and show off. Thank you for watching, guys, and you know, by the time this goes back to them, I'm also going to be the expert on this one, because yeah, I've had a lot of fun doing the research on this and going through the books, and these are the manuals here that we had with it. That's for the pedals, so that's nothing. But if you look here, because this was the weird thing I found, like your replacement pad, right? Like you got a snare and then the main pad, and there's 4. You know, they say, okay, there's 4 of these, so they should all be the same. Well, I had to flip some wires around, but who knows? And one plug's a stereo plug. There's a stereo plug in one of them, mono in the other, and it's a weird setup, boys and girls. But at least now it's under control, and all the drum kits now are in proper sync with each other's pads the way they should be, and these rim edges, because your rim edges also give you effects, but on a standard kit you don't want to hit the rim and have a cymbal or a whistle when it's supposed to be this, right? So a lower tone of that is fine, but you know, if you miss and you're trying to play a critical song, you don't want that extra stuff in there if it's not part of it on a standard kit. And like I said, that was other stuff I had going on, just weird stuff. But after sorting it out, and like I said, I reset the brain in a number of areas and everything. And I'm definitely going to look for that update online to see if there is one. If there is, I'm going to update the firmware, because they're also supposed to give you extra effects and stuff with their updates, so they say. And if that's true, well, hey, we'll have some extra goodies logged into this thing. But yeah, the manual is technically pretty darn useless. You know, product warranty, this, and you know, at least they're nice enough to say, okay, here's how it should look, all set up. You know, and then they see this is where the labeling goes wrong. If you look at the numbers, you look at, okay, number 4 plugs into number 4 spot, 5 into 5, well, 8 and 9, well, there's 2 plugs that have to go into the crash cymbal, and they should go in 8 and 9, but I can tell you right now, 8 and 9 are not the ones that are being used, and they can't be, because one of them is sitting into one of the other ones in order to straighten out the kit. So yeah. Alesis needs to get their act together, definitely. They may have by now. I don't know how long ago our church bought this thing. So hopefully Alesis has gotten their act together by now. If not, then you know, they might want to consider it. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty decent little system. You know, it's not bad. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm glad I was able to entertain you people with my beginner skill level. And I'm going to keep playing on this thing and having some fun with it while I can, and enjoy it, and see if there's any more bugs to work out. You know, but otherwise, yeah, it's pretty decent. I like it. Catch you later. Thanks for watching.